in your house. Okay, it is time to get our joy on. I want us to get serious about getting happy. But before we get to that, you know what might be fun also is clicking that like button and also commenting. Ask me any questions. I promise you, if you ask me a question, I will answer it. But now let's get serious. Let's get happy. The energy that you put out there comes back to you. What goes around comes around, or even Murphy's Law, you know, like when something terrible happens to you and then more terrible things and more terrible things and it like snowballs. So that can happen and the reverse can happen, and it's up to us to put out all the good stuff and notice all the good stuff to have that snowball. So how do we make that happen? Number one, the first thing I want you to think about is how often you're in a bad mood. I don't think we really know ourselves. That's what I find by teaching actors, is we don't really know ourselves that well. So if you can really start to be aware of how often throughout your day you're kind of in a pissy mood, you're kind of in a bad mood, and maybe you go in and out of them quickly, or maybe you stay in a funk for a while. Don't judge yourself. It's not about judgment, it's about information. Go throughout your day and just start paying attention to like how often you kind of just, you don't feel good. You're not happy, you're not joyful, you're just kind of in one of those ruts, bad moods. Just take note of it. So the first way to stop it is like awareness. It's happening. Okay, then we need to do the shift. So one of the ways to shift, we have to be really proactive, and we have to think about how to put ourselves back into a joyful, happy place. I'm gonna give you some tips right now, but I do want you to check out this video. That's gonna go in more depth, and it's gonna really teach you to kind of get to your joyful gym. Then you're gonna be able to pop into that place pretty quickly. But right now, what can you do? You're in a bad mood, life is sucky, like what can you do? So the first thing is, like if you have a list of things that pump you up, that make you happy. So turning on a song that you love that pumps you up. Don't turn on a song that you love that makes you that's gonna make you cry or be angry. Those are great songs, but not when you're in a bad mood. Maybe find a podcast that's kind of uplifting. Look at one of my videos. Call a friend who you know is supportive, not a friend that's gonna like be negative with you and take you down and join you in your bad mood. You gotta call a friend that's gonna put you in a good mood. Other things to put on your list are things that make you smile. Sometimes like I'll go and watch a YouTube video or a Saturday Night Live video, just like a really quick 5-minute thing that makes me laugh. When we laugh, we cannot be in a bad mood. So that like really shifts us quickly. If I'm in the kitchen, like the kitchen sometimes puts me in a bad mood. I don't like to cook, but if I put really pretty things in the kitchen and I turn around and I see a piece of art that I love, like that uplifts me and puts me in a good mood. Your environment makes a big difference. So surrounding yourself with an environment that pumps you up, makes you happy, can kind of change your mood. Or maybe you need to go outside and just walk around the house for a little bit. Maybe you just go play with your cats for a little bit. Or like I love to read, so like sometimes I need to just like 15-minute break, read a book that I love, and that shifts me. Everybody's different. There's no like one thing, right? When you find yourself in a bad mood, you're already ready. First thing, awareness. When are you in a bad mood? Oh man, I'm in a bad mood right now, and it could spiral and I could be in a really bad mood, but I'm aware of it now, so I'm gonna shift and I'm gonna do a couple of things that will bring me back to feeling good about myself, feeling good about other people, and hopefully experiencing some joy. And the more you do that, the more that's gonna come into your life. Okay, number 2, I want you to start being aware of like how much you complain about your life and how much you start thinking that life is unfair. We usually complain when we feel like life is unfair. We complain about our life being unfair, we complain about people being unfair to us, our situations being unfair. Sometimes we complain out loud, sometimes we complain in our brain. When we go on social media, that's when life really feels unfair. So again, don't judge yourself, like who cares? Like maybe you complain a lot, but like starting to be aware of that and then shifting it, that's where it's important and where to be proactive. Step back, notice, because I bet you don't notice how often during the day you actually complain, because it doesn't feel good. When we complain, when we feel like life is unfair, we're not having a good time and we're not joyful. So how do we shift? The moment we realize or hear ourselves start complaining, that's when we stop ourselves and we think of 3 to 5 things that we're grateful for, like right then. you can be grateful for something at any given moment, even if it's like you got a toilet in your house. I know that sounds crazy, but not everybody does. Running water. So sometimes if life feels really bad and bad things are happening, sometimes we have to go to the bigger, weird stuff. I've got running water. I've got all my limbs. And then I can get to, and you know what? I ate really well today, and a friend called me, and I'm lucky to have such a good friend. Like, I'll start to think of more things. And sometimes life is not that insanely bad, and it is easy for us to go, oh wait, you know what? I'm feeling healthy right now. I love my house. It's a beautiful day out. The main thing is that we stop ourselves from complaining and feeling like life is unfair. Life is unfair, that's a given. Us kind of getting and feeling and being pissed off about it doesn't help us, and it brings us down. Yes, life is unfair, it sucks for a lot of people at different times. But that doesn't mean you don't get to feel joy, and you have so much more power over your life than you think. There's this thing called the magic ratio, and it's the 1-to-5 ratio. And they did this study with married couples, but I feel like it goes to any relationship you have, including yourself. This is really important. One negative comment needs 5 positive comments to counteract it. So that means if you complain one time, in order to negate that, you have to think about 5 things you're grateful for. And then if you want to put out even more good energy in the world, you want to do more than 5. We have to be proactive to put good energy in the world. And the more we put this good energy out, this frequency out in the world, that comes back to us. That joy comes back to us. But we got to do a lot of work to counteract that negativity that we, I think, are throwing out in the world a lot more than we think we are. 3, I want you to start being aware of how much you put other people down. You know, and I do this too, and I've really tried not to, but you know, we do put people down, talk negatively about people sometimes, I think, to make ourselves feel better. Same as, check that out. Again, no judgment, everybody does it, right? Start being aware of like how often we talk negatively about other people. How often do you talk negatively about yourself? Probably more you talk negatively about yourself than other people. Step back, just start paying attention, no judgment, but awareness. And then in that awareness, that's when the shift can start happening. So, how do we shift? When we start noticing if we're putting someone down, again, stopping in our track. Maybe there's nothing nice that can be said about that person. Then shift it to talking about ideas, talking about people that you can talk well about. And then what positive things can you say about them? Try not to gossip. Gossip is usually very negative and goes down a negative hole. So how do we shift that? We really start to be aware of the words that come out of our mouth, being aware and trying not to do it, and then talking about something positive instead. Keeping our mind, our words on the positive things in life. All of the energy, the words in here, our actions, going out into the world are good. And then that'll start coming back to us, and we will be happy. We will get our joy on and enjoy our lives so much more. And I tell you, people are going to want to hang out with you a lot more because they're going to be drawn to that energy. They're going to trust you because they're going to know you're not going to talk about them behind their back. Like, there's something to be said about really joyful, happy, sincere people. So let's get your joy back on. Let me know down below, like, has any of this helped? What things do you do to kind of get yourself back into that energetic, joyful space? If you like this video, please subscribe. Check out our other videos. We've got a lot going on, and have a great day.